America is joining the war. Moments ago, Donald Trump posted a very cryptic message on social media calling for the full evacuation of Tehran. The post said, "Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and a waste of human life." Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. And in the moments following this post, dozens of U.S. warplanes began heading to the Middle East. And this is all following his refusal to sign the G7 statement calling for de-escalation between Israel and Iran. And according to Israeli media, the United States is now preparing to launch military strikes against Iran. No wonder they didn't want to sign declarations of de-escalation. Sources are reporting that Trump is expected to sign a war authorization decree today. Now, this report completely contradicts what the U.S. told its Middle Eastern allies just yesterday. Trump told allies like Saudi Arabia that the U.S. doesn't plan to get actively involved unless Iran attacks American civilians. But the U.S. has lied to its Middle Eastern allies before, most recently being the lie that they didn't greenlight Israel's attack on Iran. So the calls for evacuation and the myriad of American warplanes headed to the Middle East right now suggest that he was lying to our Middle East allies this time as well. The U.S. could very well be ready to declare war. America...
Yeah, man. All right. Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, honor, and power that's due to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Those who rule well on how I learned this truth from. Salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth. In all sincerity and diligence. Risking your laws and freedoms to do so. Shalom to the rest of the elect. As we all await the second exodus coming quickly by the hands of the Lord Yahweh Shah. This is your brother Rakakabar. All right, be doing a brief lesson. All right, going into the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right, the least of the flock, which ultimately represents Israel. All right, and when you look at the landmass, the population and whatnot of Israel compared to its allies, its larger allies like America and NATO, they're the smallest of the flock. Yet they have the most influence. All right, when you deal with those small hats, all right, those bankers, they have the most influence worldwide, man. And as you see, they're strategically pulling, all of these nations and gathering these nations in that region, man, because it's the doing of the Heavenly Father, man. And we love to see this because, just as it's been prophesied, this thing is going down, man. The Lord said the least of the flock will draw them out. And so, the information pretty much went out that, Trump, or America green lighted, Israel's attack on Iran. All right. Because we know they've been trying to get them to, they've been trying to stop them from developing nuclear arms, yada, yada, yada. Well, now this thing is escalating because now you have it to where, this tweet pretty much went out from Trump, telling, everybody should immediately evacuate Tehran. And, I seen videos of, you can look it up. There's just thousands and thousands of cars, just a whole bunch of traffic, people trying to get out of there, man. And she also mentioned that they, the U.S. sent those warplanes in that direction. So, we're in them times, man, to where the Lord is gathering the nations over in that region, all right, because of the Third World War. And you American men over here, you effeminate ass, you weak beta men, you gonna get drafted up, man. All right, you women too. Matter of fact, a lot of you women, they're gonna need bodies. But let's grab this. Matter of fact, let's start here. All right. Because, this shows you that those small hats in the land of Israel are not the chosen people, man, because they're constantly at war. All right. And when, the true children of God get in that land, there will be no more war, as scriptures tell you, man. All right. But this is Psalms 140 and 1. It says, "Deliver me, Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war." And that's why those small hats are always at war. All right. With, the Palestinians. all right, and those Ishmaelites, because that land doesn't belong to any of them, all right? And they're pulling America and these other nations into this third world war, all right? And I believe it was, I forget who it was, I want to say Karl Marx, all right? But they pretty much outlined how this third war would be, and it's playing out just like that, all right? This is Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Babylon, which is this place, America, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Meaning, this place is fucked. All right. Because the same time the Israel, started attacking Iran, they were condemned by North Korea, China. Pretty much everybody condemned them for that shit, man. Which makes sense because when you read Habakkuk 2, all of these nations are going to spoil this place, man. All right. Going into that Ezekiel 38 war. See? So, these tensions, man, these things are heating up for a reason, for a prophetic reason, man. All right. The Lord is about to deliver his people, man. When we see these things like this, we rejoice. Okay. Because any day now, something major could happen, man. All right. Another 9/11 attack. All right. More T attacks over here in America, and we just waiting for them to go ahead and be justified in collapsing this system so that they could roll out that MOT busy. All right. Because that's really what this is all shaping up for, man. We know before those nukes start being shot off, to really bring that destruction, they're going to mandate that chip. So that's these things indicate how close we are to this, man. And this shit, as quick as this moving, man, we could see major shit pop within this year. Lord's will. But, I didn't want this to be too long. Just a brief update. All right. And how this place ultimately is being dragged into the war, which we know they already had their hands in it. But it's getting to the point to where, hey, this dude could declare a national emergency, man. And we're just going to watch how these things play out, over the, next coming days and weeks. But anyways, that's the point. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, DTY Baba Ball. Shalom.